Hello and welcome back. During the previous days, you completed the most emotionally challenging part of the journey choosing one idea. You defined the problem, picked a user, wrote a clear mission sentence, and started telling your story to the others. You also ran your first interviews, short conversations where you had to explain your idea and listen to feedback. Today, we take the next step. Day 2 is about turning scattered feedback into a structured model. We are going to move from I had a few interesting conversations to I understand where my idea is strong, where it's weak, and what business model I'm actually betting on. By the end of this lecture, you should have the following things: a first pass at a SWOT analysis for your project, a first version of your business model canvas, a clear decision, commit, adjust, rethink, or pivot based on real evidence. This is where your idea starts turning into an actionable plan. Let's dig in. Let's talk about validation. Founders love their ideas, and honestly, that is a great starting point. But here's where things often go sideways. Your excitement doesn't mean the idea works. Your friends smiling and nodding, it doesn't mean they'll use it. Even if a smart person says, hey, this is cool, that's not real validation. What actually matters is this. Do people clearly understand the problem you are solving? Do they feel that problem in their own lives or work? And most importantly, do they show real intent to pay for your solution? In my book, Unicorn Focus, I talk about something called the Is It Just Me test. It's simple. You explain your product to different people, users, experts, even complete outsiders, and then you listen. Can they repeat it back to you in their own words? Do they actually get it? Do they care? That's exactly what your interviews were designed to do. It's a focused, fast validation loop. So now, let's dig into what you've learned from interviews and how to use it. You've done the interviews and gathered feedback from users and experts. Now we look at how to read your feedback and then move into how you decide the next move for your project. Let's structure what you collected. We look across three simple axes. First, clarity of the problem. When you describe the problem, could people restate it in their own words? Did they look confused and reduce it to something totally different? Did they overlook anything you believe is important? Second, intensity of the need. Were their answers closer to, yeah, that happens sometimes, or to, this is a nightmare, we deal with it every day? Did they share their own examples without you pushing? Third, behavioral signals. Did someone ask, what stage is your project at? Or, can I test something? Or, can I show this to my team? Or did the response stop at, interesting idea, good luck? That is where you'll start seeing patterns. Now, watch out for three in particular. Is it confusion and reframing? You pitch X, but they talk about Y. For instance, you describe a strategic AI assistant and they imagine a report summary tool. That means your message is unclear or you missed the real pain point. Did they express high praise but low real interest? People telling you your idea is smart or important, but no one cares to engage or try it. That's out of respect, but unfortunately, it is not actual demand. If they signaled clear pain and described ugly workarounds they use now, this is exactly what you want. When someone walks you through a messy process or says they're overpaying for a half baked tool, that is your signal. The problem is real and they want a better way to solve this. Based on your interview scores and comments, I want you to place your project in one of three buckets. First, high commitment. Go all in. This is when things feel solid. People understood the problem. More than one person clearly felt the pain. And you heard real signals. They want to try it, pay for it, or share it with someone. If that's you, great. Your job on day two is to sharpen your model and build around that core. Second, medium commitment. Iterate. You realize that some things landed, but some didn't. Maybe the pain is real, but your framing didn't hit. Or you're talking to wrong segment. Or your first feature isn't the one that makes people care. In that case, don't throw your idea away, keep the core, but refine the angle. Day two will help you find the sharper version. Low commitment. Rethink or pivot early. This is when things just didn't click. People didn't really get it. Or they smiled politely, but you could tell no real interest. If that is where you landed, that is not failure. That's a win. It means you just avoided building something no one really wants. Use day two to explore smarter approaches, starting with SWOT analysis and the business model canvas. To summarize this part, think of your interviews as a sketch, not a final verdict. What we'll do next is use the classic SWOT tool to spot patterns in what you heard. This helps turn scattered feedback into something you can use to make decisions. You gathered feedback from interviews and organized what people said. Now we are going to turn that material into a strategic map. We will use the SWOT framework: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, to make sense of what you heard and gain clear direction. SWOT is one of those things that shows up in every business textbook. Too often it becomes a list of nice words with little impact. Here's how we use it differently. We'll use it in a way that helps you decide where to lean in and where you should protect your focus. The idea is simple. Strengths. There are internal advantages that you already have. Weaknesses are the internal gaps or limitations. Opportunities. What's happening outside that you could benefit from. These are external forces you could and should use. Threats. What is out there that could slow you down or block you? The power comes when you combine them. When your strengths meet your opportunities, that is where you double down. When your weakness meet real threats, those are the pressure points you need to handle. Let's start building your SWOT. What's important? We are going to do it using what we actually heard in interviews, not the story we wish were true. Let's walk through each box. The first one, strengths. Ask yourself, what did people say we are generally good at? Does our team have real expertise in this space? Do we have access to users, data, or distribution that others don't? And is our value proposition more clear than the typical AI for everything pitch? Think back to examples we discussed earlier. Companies that had a sharp niche, a clear promise, and a real insight. That is what true strength looks like. The second one, weaknesses. Now flip the lens, ask yourself, what was hard to explain during interviews? Which critical skills are missing on the team? Technical, sales, domain knowledge. Are we trying to cover too many use cases at once? Are we relying too heavily on one person, one data set, or one assumption? Be honest here. This isn't your pitch deck you use to impress your investors. If you skip this part, you'll pay for it later. Third, opportunities. Look outside and ask yourself, are there strong waves you can ride, like new regulation, AI adoption, remote work trends? Did you come across a group of users who are clearly underserved, the current tools just aren't working? Did someone mention a related problem they'd love to solve next? Opportunities are your external boosts. And your goal here is to position yourself to use them. And fourth, the external risks. Threats. Is a big platform gearing up to enter your space? Are there trust, privacy, or security concerns you must handle? Are your users locked into old workflows or long-term contracts? Here comes the most important part of this practice. The real insight comes when you start looking at how things connect. Let's start with strengths and opportunities. This is where you double down. You are looking for powerful combinations. For example, you've got deep experience in a niche, and that market is finally adopting AI. You have access to unique data set, and the new need has emerged that your data set fits perfectly. You already built trust in a tight community, and now that community is expanding. These are your focus bets. That is where your time and money should go first. Now let's switch gears. Look at weaknesses and threats. This is where the risks live. You might see things like there is no technical founder on the team, and the product has serious security or compliance needs. That's a tough gap. Or maybe pricing is unclear, and the users are extremely cost sensitive. That's going to create friction fast. Or maybe your initial market is tiny, and every new customer costs way too much to reach. Now, this isn't a reason to panic. Use the signals to make an informed decision. So now the question is, how do you respond? Do you find a way to handle the risk yourself? Do you bring in a partner who can fill that gap? Do you narrow the scope so it is manageable? Or do you step back and say, maybe this isn't the right direction? SWOT isn't about finding the perfect plan or making things sound good. Your goal is to identify potential problems early on so that you don't have to pay for them later. In my work with founders, I've seen the same pattern many times. Teams that are honest about their SWOT move faster and argue less. Why? Because now you have a shared language. You're not saying, I feel this is risky. You're saying, this falls under our weakness and threats box. We either solve it or we shift. That kind of alignment is gold. Once you've mapped the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats and seen the intersections, it is time for the next big question. Given what we know now, what business are we actually in? That's what we'll unpack next, using the business model canvas.